Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is our take. We are your hosts, Motion.
I'm Taylor.
And ladies and gentlemen, we got a fun one for you today. Today we're going to be bringing our take to the recently released Sony and Screen Gems Legendary Pictures movie, The Machine. This movie is a comedian-led movie, I guess you could say. It's a comedy genre. We did a trailer reaction to it a couple months ago, and we were super excited, and it's out, and we're ready to talk all about it. So before we get to that, though, I'm going to let Taylor run you guys through the cast list real quick. Go ahead, Taylor.
Of course, Bert Kreischer plays himself. We have Mark Hamill as his dad, Albert. Jimmy Tatro plays the young version of Bert. Eva Babic plays Irina. Robert Mazur, I don't know how you say that, but he's Alexei.
Okay.
The sibling.
The brother, though.
Stephanie Kurtzuba as Bert's wife.
Okay.
And Martin Ford plays Sponge.
Oh.
And Nicola Dorico as Igor.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, so the main star, Bert Kreischer, is a famous comedian, right? I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. He did this bit in one of his stand-up comedy specials called The Machine, and it was extremely popular when it first came out. Kind of lit his career on fire, basically birthed him into what he is today, right, within the comedy scene. And he created a movie out of his experience, and now it's out. We talked about in the trailer reaction how there was a little bit of not controversy, but just they didn't release it immediately because of the current political situation over in Russia, and they didn't want to get caught up in that, and so they held off on releasing it until now. It is out. It's kind of in select theaters. Like there wasn't a whole lot of showings for me. Did you find a lot of showings?
I mean, it was available everywhere. It's just, showtimes weren't.
Yeah, not typical.
It's just, I think it's because recently a lot of the big movies just hog all the screen time.
True. Yeah, I'm sure.
And
Guardians,
so a lot of smaller things just kind of get blocked out, which is kind of annoying, but
I'm sure Guardians and Fast X are still hogging all the showtimes, right?
I mean, even Super Mario's still...
Really? Super Mario's still in the theaters? Wow.
Because they're just trying to take all the money.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do this in traditional fashion. We are going to talk about it spoiler-free. Then we'll give you guys our scores and then dive into some spoilers. So, without further ado, Taylor, how did you like The Machine?
It was about what I expected.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that in a good way or a bad way?
Kind of neither.
Okay.
It was just like it was super funny.
Yeah.
I really loved Mark Hamill and Bert Kreischer in this, and there's a lot of newer things they added to this because it's not like a full recreation of
the
original skit or whatever, but it's got a little bit of fluff in there that I don't think needed to be there, but it was still enjoyable. And for a comedian-based movie, it was definitely the better one versus some other ones I've seen. Sure. But it's not like amazing or anything.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of fun watching the movie. I went into it trying to manage my expectations because I know it's like you said, it's a comedian-led movie. Bert Kreischer, I don't think he's listed as a director, but I know he had a large input on how the movie was made and how it was scripted and whatnot. So, with that in mind, you kind of have to expect there to be maybe not quite the best acting or whatever. And there definitely were some moments in there that I was like, yeah, this is a B-list comedian movie, but I don't know, there's some really funny parts and some pretty crazy parts, and I had fun. I enjoyed the movie. I'm glad that I saw it in theaters, and like you said, it kind of just met my expectations of what I was expecting from a movie made out of the stand-up comedy bit titled The Machine.
Right, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. Yeah. Well, do you recommend people seeing it in theaters?
I don't think it's a big deal if you don't. But I do recommend watching the movie at some point.
Yeah. I think with like the current climate of what's in the theaters right now, it might be worth it. I mean, right now the big things are Guardians and Fast X, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a frequent moviegoer, sure, because you've probably already seen all the other stuff.
Yeah, you've already seen Guardians.
But if you haven't, then you probably might want to watch something else. I don't know.
Not Fast X though. Don't watch that movie.
Please don't watch that.
If you guys want to see our review of that movie, check it out right here. All right. Well, I kind of feel the same way. I think if you end up watching it in the theaters, you know, it's not going to be bad, or you're not going to feel like you wasted your time or anything. But if you end up waiting until it comes out on a streaming service, it'll be just as fun, just as enjoyable. So, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into scores. Okay. 1 to 10 scores for The Machine. Now, for me personally, I'm sitting at like a 7. Really enjoyed the movie, had a lot of fun, but you know, there's technical things that prohibit it from getting a higher score than a 7. So, what about you, Taylor?
I'm gonna give this a 5.
Okay, pretty average.
Yeah,
pretty average.
But that's actually really high for a comedian movie for me. Like a movie from a comedian.
What other comedian movies are you thinking of that you would kind of compare to this?
The most recent one would be Joe Coy's Easter Sunday.
Yeah,
was the last one that came out.
It's a good comparison, and that was pretty mid, less than mid actually. But
yeah, I mean, as a movie, it was, I would say, bad. If it was released as a special, though, I think it would be pretty good.
Yeah, because we always love Joe Coy. It's just
he's great. It's just
sometimes it's hard to turn stand-up comedy into movies.
Yeah, not every comedian can be an actor,
right?
So,
yeah, that's a fair way to put it. All right, well, those are our scores, 7 and 5. I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score. I believe it's the Rotten Tomatoes critic score is pretty low. I think they only got, what does that say, 29%? Yeah, which doesn't surprise me because a lot of times these kinds of movies just get torn apart on a technical level. But the audience score is 92%.
That's really high.
And I'm not surprised. I mean, Bert Kreischer has a following. You know, he's got a fan base that is 100% loyal. And I don't fault people for liking this movie. It's a lot of fun. So I'm not surprised to see it at 92%. But for me, 7. For Taylor, 5. Those are our scores, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into some spoilers, talk about the fun things that happened, the crazy things that happened. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to serve as your official
spoiler alert.
All right. Was not expecting as much gore and blood as there was in this movie.
It was pretty surprising.
Yeah. Like it probably is a smidge too much for the overall tone that they were going for. But the scene with his hand in the dude's throat, it was funny. I thought it was funny until his head got chopped off, and then it was just like, whoa, didn't take this for a gore film.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was just too much. I guess it's just really personal thing, like opinion based thing, because it wasn't really like a lot. But it's just more than you would expect. Yeah,
from just the way that they're painting the movie, you know, like when he shoots the one brother in the head, and then he ends up shooting the next guy, and he shoots the next guy. Like there's blood, but it's not like in your face. It's pretty manageable. But then when he like punches the dude that has a cut open throat, and his hand is just in there, fisting the dude's throat, and his head gets cut off, I was just like, whoa, okay, here we go.
I mean, I don't know, because it was rated R, right?
Yes, yeah, for the
so I mean, it's not like out of the equation.
Sure, yeah, it's just wasn't expected.
I mean, I guess it kind of fits the overall like adults
comedy,
humor in this, but it definitely surprised me. But I wasn't against it, so.
Yeah. What did you think of Bert Kreischer's acting overall?
He's actually not bad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that by the end of the movie, I felt like as I was watching the movie, his acting got progressively better. In the beginning, it was a little shaky. Like a lot of the scenes around the birthday and him like talking to his wife at the house, a little rocky for me. I could tell he was like really trying hard to accentuate emotions and stuff.
Yeah, which is
but
pretty normal.
yeah,
but
totally
I
understandable.
would like, like if you watched, I don't know if you've seen Joe Coy's.
Yeah, I did.
His is bad.
Yeah,
Like very bad, and literally, if he is not telling a bit, it's horrible. Like he cannot act, which it doesn't really matter to me, but like because it's a movie, like it's kind of bad.
You have to judge.
But as soon as he starts a bit, he's clicked in because that's his job, and he's been doing it for a long time.
Right,
It's not so much of a difference in this movie, but
you can tell the transition.
You can definitely tell like it as he gets more comfortable with it. It gets a little bit easier.
Yeah, it definitely, as the movie progressed, he got better and better with his acting, and it felt more fluid, more real, and whatnot. But I was impressed too. I was impressed by Bert Kreischer. It shouldn't really be that surprising because he's done a lot of TV. He had a TV show on Discovery, I think it was Discovery Channel, for a long time, and so he's obviously been in the spotlight and understands the stage. But when it comes to movies, it is a little bit different.
Yeah, especially if he's the main character.
Right, and he's telling a story about himself.
Yeah,
so yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. But let's talk about the other main character in this movie that was, in my opinion, just awesome to watch, and Mark Hamill.
Yeah, he was great.
It was awesome. I grew up knowing Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, as I'm sure 99% of you out there did as well. So watching him as anybody but Luke Skywalker is just so cool, and the fact that he's funny and just has this like weird it's weird just like bouncing around of emotions and doing drugs and all these crazy things in this movie is just, I thought it was really funny, really fun to watch him do that because it's Mark Hamill.
Yeah, he's great. He's absolutely the best actor in this, not surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the biggest person in this.
He's the most experienced.
But yeah, I mean, for most people, if you've only seen him in Star Wars, then yeah, it's probably going to be like unusual, but I'm sure enjoyable. I love him in a lot of his other roles. This is really just a continuation of that, but in a unusual movie, I guess, for it. But he's great. He's funny. You can tell that he's actually capable of like swapping between like emotions and stuff very well in this. But yeah, it's just awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching him, and I was actually kind of surprised about the rest of the acting because they're all B-list or lower celebrities, and I was surprised. I thought the rest of the supporting cast did all right. They did pretty average for their roles, and I don't think any of them like took away from the story.
Yeah, they were all like fine. I think my third best or favorite character would be Igor.
I love Sponge too. Sponge is hilarious.
He was pretty funny.
It's just funny. He's just a big dumb meathead.
Yeah. Sponge kind of gave me like Killa vibes from John Wick 4.
Killa.
Is it Scott Adkins?
Killa.
He's the big dude. The guy who looks like the penguin, but
right.
He kind of gave me like his kind of vibes in the movie.
Yeah.
Just because he was just a
massive,
large individual.
Massive man. Yeah.
I will say I wasn't super, and I don't know if it's just me, but I wasn't a huge fan of all the like Russian accents that they were doing in this movie.
Okay.
It just seemed, not always, but most of the time it seemed pretty forced.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I didn't really check to see if any of them actually are Russian or anything. But when they're speaking Russian, it's fine.
Sure.
When they're speaking English with a Russian accent, it felt kind of weird.
I don't know. I guess I didn't really have an issue with it. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I didn't really. But I guess I could see how that would be annoying, but I didn't really have an issue with that. You're talking about like Adrena and her brothers and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much all the like
Hmm. Okay.
Russian mobsters and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah. What did you think about the story overall? Like what they added, what they took, how they went about telling it.
I mean, in the beginning, it's very, it's pretty much just like introducing you to the like phenomenon of the
Right.
original. Um, and pretty much throughout the movie, it's like just kind of trying to parallel it, I guess, with like extra family stuff with the
Sure.
dad and stuff. Um, wasn't a huge fan of all the family specific things, and it seemed a little unnecessary. And I didn't really care. Like all the emotional setups didn't seem that great to me.
Like with the daughter and
Yeah,
stuff. Hmm. Yeah,
and then
I think that's where subpar, or we'll call it new to the scene acting, kind of hurts you. Is that Bert Kreischer and the daughter, who are both not really well known within the acting world, they just can't invoke the same emotion out of watchers as other people, and so it
yeah,
doesn't.
well, that and the fact that like we know the story,
Right.
the original story, trying to make me believe this on top of it is like even twice as hard
Mm.
because it wasn't there to begin with.
Yeah.
On top of
Yeah, what did you think
being new
about
to
them
acting.
adding in the whole love interest part of the story? Do you think that's I don't know if that's like confirmed to actually be part of the story, or if
Yeah,
that's
I mean I don't know if it was or not, but it just seemed
I don't imagine it
pointless.
is. I imagine that's something they added in as a creative liberty for the movie.
Yeah, I mean it felt like it. I just it seemed unnecessary. It doesn't go anywhere
Yeah.
other than like the final. Oh, I gave you your ring
But
back,
even
but
that is really shallow, and there's no substance there, because we know that Bert is with his wife, and we know
yeah,
that,
that's why
like,
I don't get why
yeah,
they put it in there because it's like unless you were trying to say that he had this like long lost love,
right.
but he's been married, has kids, like
And we know
he's
in real
moved
life
on.
that Bert and his wife are very, very happily married. And I mean, he even says in the original machine built bit that he'll never cheat on his wife. So
Yeah.
yeah, it seemed a little out of place for what I know about the real life Bert Kreischer, for them to have added that love interest in there.
Yeah, so I don't know. I thought it was kind of strange.
It was funny. The letter was funny. Are you still hot? Because I'm not.
Yeah.
That was funny, but yeah, I didn't think it was necessary.
It just seemed like this movie pretty much is just relying on nostalgia and like trying to bait your emotions, but it's
Sure.
just not there.
What were some of the parts that you did enjoy?
I
what did
mean,
you
a lot
like
of
about
the
this movie?
like funny, like intentionally funny
Mm.
moments were good. It's just the action is kind of like really bad, but
The final like battle scene of him downing the bottle of vodka and just going off on everybody is just so, it was comical to me, because there's just no way that he would be able to do that.
no, yeah. I mean, it's funny, but
But
it's ridiculous
it was
intentionally.
intended to be over the top ridiculous. I mean, they added in so many little like action comedy stunts and little Easter eggs, like him lighting his cigar with the machine gun fire,
Yeah.
all that little stuff. I thought it was really really funny. But some of the action sequences were like, ooh, okay.
Yeah. I do want to say a lot of the Russians in here are clearly fake Russians. Do you know why?
I didn't see a single tracksuit or like wife
That's
beater
also
with a cigarette.
that's a fair point too. But besides that,
Oh no, what?
there was literally only one Russian firearm in this movie.
Oh, really? I
Technically,
didn't even pay
maybe two,
attention to
but I'm
that.
gonna be honest. I think it was a fucking like Chinese
Knockoff of a.
like a model, which is like I don't really count them because they weren't actually used. But the AKs when he goes to visit Igor and they're like,
Yeah.
"Here's gifts," and it's just like in the van. There's just
Yeah,
like 20
a whole
AKs.
bunch of guns and stuff. Yeah.
They don't use them, so I don't really count them. But actually used weapons in this, there was only one, and it was
I saw an RPK.
it was in the flashback with I don't remember his name, but the dude that ran the train, the boss.
Oh, Fedor, I think.
Something like that, yeah. He was the only one he had a Tokarov.
Oh, the pistol.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
Like the
gun that he used to
Arena-
light his cigarette was an AK, right? Pretty sure. Or light his cigar, I should say.
yeah,
in the final
which-
battle. I think that was cigar. And then that one dude, I think he had an RPK. He was
No,
like
that's
this.
not an RPK.
It wasn't. What was
no,
that?
I have no idea. It was
Oh,
not
just a
definitely not
box
an RPK,
mag
though.
machine gun that
Yeah.
jammed at the perfect moment.
Yeah, which is probably accurate of what
Yeah.
because it looked like a piece of crap. But especially Arena running around with this like
Yeah, what was that?
very, very cheap looking plastic, but supposed to be gold plated M9.
It
Not
was like
ever happening
It was like a weird M9 though. It wasn't even like a full sized Beretta.
because it's a fucking toy
Yeah, it was a weird.
that she ends up loading 50 times all the time as she picks it up. She fucking goddamn charges the slide. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's just movie.
I will say she did. She had like a lot of John Wick
Yeah,
scene or shots or scenes, I guess. Yeah, action scenes, which was interesting. But
I did really like how there were actual mag sizes in this movie, though. There were many times where people
What do you
ran
mean,
out
like-
of bullets, and they had to. You actually saw them reload their mags, and it's just better.
yeah, I mean, it's something.
Yeah, I mean,
everything else involved in it was kind of bad, but
yeah,
it's something.
sure. But I'm just trying to throw them bones here, man. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to throw them
Yeah,
bones for
well,
like
I mean,
good
that's fair. It wasn't
kudos.
endless
Yeah,
magazine.
It wasn't just ridiculously endless magazines.
The recoil, the effects, the sounds are all really, really bad. Especially in the beginning, dude. The boss shooting the TV. That wasn't a revolver, bro. I don't know what gun sounds you were using, but that's not it. And the TV
AI
the
generated
TV
sounds.
didn't even get affected by it too.
Yeah.
It just cracked the screen like you drop a phone. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but if you send a bullet through a TV, the TV doesn't work anymore.
At all?
Like, period. Like, you cannot see images.
No, yeah.
So, yeah. What else did you like about the movie? Or dislike? We can do either one. Is there anything specifically that you wanted to talk about being bad in this movie?
I mean, I really liked the relationship with Igor, his friend.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that they
I thought it was
expanded on that.
Yeah, it was a nice little like I guess conclusion for it that he met up with him and stuff.
Right.
Especially because we were on the train. You're like, who the fuck are you? You're not Igor. He's like, I am Igor.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of the part where he meets up, or Igor takes him back to the village, and all his kids run out. And he's like, you could pull out, right, bro?
Oh, but I have a really long dick. It's very
it
hard.
just takes a long time to pull out.
Yeah, that was pretty hilarious. That was honestly, I think, my favorite joke of the movie, just because it was so.
It was so easy. It was so well delivered.
Yeah,
like,
I just
was
didn't
just
expect
nonchalant.
it, and I've
it was
never
just-
heard it before.
it felt like two best friends joking with each other.
Yeah.
After a little while, like that sounds like a joke that you would joke around with your best friend about.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
That was great. Yeah. And then the townsfolk found the arena and they're like, we found
a
a whore.
whore. It's like, oh wait, I know this whore. Help me.
How much do you want for her? Or how much are you willing to pay for her? Let's get the whore in your house, Igor.
That was one thing I thought was strange. I guess it didn't matter because the village people brought her back.
Yeah.
But after he got pushed off of the train, I was like, why wouldn't your first reaction be to go see if she's like?
Yeah, why didn't you go
alive?
after her?
He was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go fuck off in the middle of the woods and eat
It
this
eats-
pot brownie back.
20-year-old pot brownie.
I don't know. I have nothing, like no knowledge of that kind of stuff, but I feel like that was like a extreme exaggeration of it.
I don't know if, because pot is not considered a psychedelic, right?
No.
So it's kind of weird that I mean, maybe if pot ages for that long, I don't know. I don't know either. I don't have any knowledge on it. But
I can't imagine it's like that though.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe you pot experts can let us know in the comments if that's possible, that if weed ages for 20 years, it'll cause like massive hallucinations. I know weed can mess with your mind a little bit, but it's more of like hysteria.
Yeah, it's not
instead
like
of
shrooms. Like
yeah, but that was like full on LSD shrooms. Exactly. Like he literally had a conversation with his younger self in full, like, yeah, I don't know.
Which I also thought was kind of like, it's just one of the many like times there's like unnecessary screen time of them like talking together. I feel like the buildup of Bert Kreischer trying to like be okay with himself is way too long in this movie. Because the best part is when he's, doing the machine.
Yeah. I think for those of you that haven't watched it, kind of the overarching theme of the movie was that Bert Kreischer was trying to figure out how to balance this persona of being the machine, the party guy, the drink, get blackout drunk, take your shirt off, crazy dude that does comedy, and being Bert Kreischer, the father to two wonderful daughters and a husband to a wife and whatnot. And by the end of the movie, that's kind of like the final thing is he figures out how to do that balance. But
yeah. Well, the thing that sucks about it is the entire movie is the like purposely the opposite of that. Like when they set up the movie, we know going in he's the machine,
right?
But he's not that, and throughout most of the like first half at the very least, probably like 3/4 of the movie, he's just trying to not be the machine, which isn't like, I guess, annoying, but because that's kind of what you want to see.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know like what the story could have been if it was flipped, right? Or if he was just the machine too much during the movie, and he had to figure out a way to rein it back.
Yeah,
and make it
gets a dad moment at the end instead of a
crazy
the machine
ending.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess that could be weird or considered weird for movie telling because since it's called the machine. I don't know, but it felt weird that the majority of it is just boring shit, basically, other than like jokes in between leading up to, and then as soon as he's like, what, fuck it, like I'm the machine.
Yeah, chugging this bottle of vodka.
Yeah,
gives me superpowers,
which is ridiculous, but it's funny, and I love that part of it.
Yeah, I love because it was intentionally comical. Like they weren't trying to be realistic at all. It was just let's give him vodka and turn him into a crazy machine.
Right.
So that was great. But yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't know which way I would like better. I don't know if I would like him to be the machine a lot and then have like a family moment at the end where he learns how to tone it down, or vice versa. Do we know if I'm pretty familiar with Bert Kreischer's story and like the public parts of his life, but do you know if the whole incident with his daughter is real? I don't think it is.
I feel like it's not.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm decently familiar with his public part of his life, but I don't know for sure if that never happened. But I don't remember ever hearing about him getting drunk, having his 15-year-old daughter with a learner's permit come pick him up and
try to take him
home, and they get pulled over by the police, and then he live streams the whole thing. I don't think that's true, but it could be.
I don't think it is. I mean, I don't know. Like I don't follow him that much, but I feel like I would have at least heard about it.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty big story for sure.
It just seems like it's just new stuff they're adding for the emotional element.
I mean, they needed it to create some kind of distance between him and the daughter, right? They needed to create an issue between them so that that was the motivation for him while he's in Russia again. So, yeah, probably wasn't real. I don't know. Maybe you guys can let us know that too.
I don't know.
If that
It was kind of honestly, I
it
didn't
was a
even
little-
really. The entire time, I wasn't even remotely thinking about his daughter.
Yeah,
It's
nobody
like
was.
the weakest fucking.
Nobody was. Nobody was thinking about that. His daughter was. They. He mentions it once towards the beginning. It's like, oh, now can I call my daughter and make sure she's okay? And she's like, shut up and get in the car. And then at the end of the movie, Irina is like, oh, by the way, the DJ says your daughter is a good girl.
Yeah.
She's like, oh yeah, I forgot about her. That's right. She was like somewhat being kidnapped like the entire time. Yeah, I don't know. That was a little. I guess when you forget about the main motivation for a main character, it's not very good.
Yeah.
Probably why it has a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's enjoyable
Yeah,
because
but
the funny moments, like
are
they're funny. But when you actually look at it as a movie, it's actually kind of
It's not very
It's kind of
good.
lacking.
Yeah.
But it's
But-
still better than some other comedian movies.
Yeah.
So
What is your, like, off the top of your head, what is your favorite or the best comedian-led movie that you can remember?
I couldn't even tell you.
Are we counting stuff like-
usually,
Are we counting stuff like CIA or Ride Along, where it's like Kevin Hart but not playing Kevin Hart? Like it's still a fictionalized story, and
not really. I
No,
kind of just
you don't
consider
count those?
those like
okay,
individual
yeah.
movies and stuff. Because
I don't know,
then
man.
you would, that would open up a lot more. But most of those are kind of bad too. So
I thought CIA was pretty funny.
I never watched that. So
I thought that was pretty good, but I don't like. I'm trying to think of
like
other.
a lot of the Key and Peele ones are not good.
True.
So
I
yeah,
didn't think
I'd
about
rather
that.
just. I don't really think of them as being the same thing.
Okay.
Unless it's specifically like trying, like this movie where it's like trying to recreate a bit that they did,
Right.
then it's not. I don't really think about it as a comedian specific
Okay.
movie.
All right. Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head other than the two that we've already talked about.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was the most recent ones, but
Yeah, I don't even know. Because I was just thinking of stuff like Ride Along and CIA and mostly Kevin Hart movies.
yeah, I mean, he does,
Jumanji.
yeah, but Jumanji does definitely.
That's
doesn't count.
different though, because that
an
has
actual,
precedence. Yeah. That's
story,
a
but-
legit remake. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. They're not. I mean, that in itself, not being able to remember is a statement.
Yeah.
And of the ones I do remember, weren't good.
Yeah.
So, but
It's
at least
not.
this one wasn't bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a fun time. It was funny, and I might be partial because I really like Bert Kreischer. His podcast is hilarious with Tom Segura, and anytime he's on Joe Rogan's podcast is always a blast of an episode to listen to.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm pretty partial to him, but I enjoyed it.
Do you foresee watching this multiple times?
You know, I don't think that I would ever think to myself, oh, I want to watch The Machine again.
Yeah.
But if I came across somebody that hadn't watched it yet and didn't know like what The Machine was, like so for example, when we went to watch the movie the other night, I had one of my cousins with us and he had no idea what this was. Like he didn't even know about the original bit
Okay.
or anything. And so like if there was that kind of situation, I would rewatch it with him to, show him the movie.
Would you point them to this movie or the original stand-up act?
I don't know. That's hard because I don't know if you show him the original bit first and then you watch the movie, if it would become like disappointing, like you would disappoint him, or it would take away a little bit from watching the original bit. Because there's definitely a level of nostalgia that they use to elevate the movie, right? Like
Yeah.
the
I think
original
it's
bit came out.
It's an important
Yeah,
factor
it came
for
out
that
like
movie.
5 or 6 years ago, right? So there's a level of nostalgia that they used in order to add something to the movie. So um, I don't know. Like I just showed my crew at the fire station the original bit yesterday because they had no idea either.
That's surprising.
They had heard of it, like they had heard of Bert Kreischer, but they had never actually watched the full bit. So I showed them the bit, and they were dying of laughter. So I told them, "Oh, you should go watch the movie." So again, I think in that kind of situation, I think I would rewatch it, but I don't foresee myself ever being like, "Oh, I want to watch The Machine again." You know, what about you?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
Like I enjoyed it the one time.
Yeah.
I think if I rewatched it again, I would probably increasingly hate it
Mm,
and like be annoyed by it.
yeah.
But as a single viewing, I thought it was enjoyable.
Would you be opposed to more?
Like more movies?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm not
Would be.
thinking continuation of this story. I'm thinking like I think there's some room for like a spin-off kind of thing with like the Russian mafia. You know, like I think there's a potential story there.
I don't know. I mean, not tied to Bert Kreischer, maybe.
Yeah, it would be like a complete spin-off of
like-
about Irina taking over her father's empire and
I don't. I mean, like literally completely
Oh.
disconnected from anything that happened in this movie. Maybe like literally, if
Mm.
it's just a movie about the Russian mafia, sure. Nothing tied to this now.
it wouldn't be a spin-off then.
Well, that's why I said no. I was opposed to it.
I think I would be willing to watch. It would depend on like the story and how much of this they use, but I think if they just kind of like, said, "Oh, this is from the Bert Kreischer world or what machine world or whatever," I think I might be willing to watch a movie about Irina taking over her father's empire and the like power struggle with her and her brother. I might be willing to watch something. I don't know. I'm open minded to it. Not gonna say no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
I don't think anything like that's coming because
I doubt it.
yeah, the critic scores were really bad on this. I think this movie's still gonna do well at the theaters, but I don't think it's
Yeah,
gonna do.
I mean,
well
I'm sure it'll
enough
be
to-
fine. Like I said, because it's tied to
Yeah,
the machine, like the bit,
yeah,
that's what's holding it up.
yeah,
If that wasn't a thing, this movie would be horrible.
yeah. That's true. That's true. I'm interested to see how many like. I wonder if there's somebody, or I'm sure maybe Bert's team actually did it, but like, I wonder how many views the original bit on YouTube gained with this movie coming out. You know what I mean?
I mean, they should be able to gauge that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
with
a way to
analytics
tell.
and stuff, but I don't know.
You think it's like millions?
I can't imagine it being that
Hmm.
much. I mean, it's already
I think it's like 50 million right now.
because it's not like this was like a major movie release.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the exposure of this can't be any different than his original like personal stuff,
Hmm.
whether it be his shows or his podcasts or anything.
Yeah. I don't know, man. He promoted it on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan is the largest podcast in the world. So I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, I don't know what kind of
Yeah. Can you hey producer? Can
outreach that
Can you look up where
Joe Rogan has on other people. So
where the box office is at right now? Like what their earnings are? We're day 3 of it being out right now. So there should be some.
if you let me know how much they spent on this too,
Yeah, I can't
'Cause if
imagine
it's
it
a
was
lot-
that much.
that makes it worse.
I can't imagine it was that much. I know a lot of it was Bert Kreischer, but I don't know. I'd be interested to. I think they'll do well. I mean,
According to this, it says worldwide it's at
3 million?
3 million or like gross 3 million.
No way.
That's what
It's
that
got to
says.
be more than that. Was that you mean? That's their budget or that's the box office? Maybe there's not really any figures out yet because it's only day 3. It's not even the first weekend yet. Yeah, I don't know. It's made.
Well, the
Office
says
is at 2.
yeah, domestic is showing at 2.2.
Really?
And if it's 3.1 globally, that's a fucking major flop.
Yeah.
The budget is apparently 20, so
That's not that bad of a budget though.
no, I mean that's
That's a pretty
that's a
reasonable.
B movie budget, but
Yeah.
like to be making that much, that's for an
Well-
opening weekend. That's
We'll see. We'll see.
I mean it's not over yet, so
Yeah.
but even for being out for like
3 days.
3
at this
days,
point,
it's
yeah.
not good.
Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of a bummer. I was hoping that they would at least break even or something.
Yeah, but it's just hard for these kind of movies.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely. Well, I don't know. I kind of said everything I want to say.
Yeah,
I don't really have anything else to say about this movie. It's pretty average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean it's funny, you know, has its moments.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us on this episode. This was episode 175, ladies and gentlemen, and we finally have a table.
Yeah,
I
thank you,
know
Ocean,
it's
for-
been said, I've been saying it's coming for a long time, but it's finally here in all of its glory.
It's
want you
made out
guys
of
to know-
wood from Endor, which is why it took so
Yeah,
long.
I had to ship it in. You know, galactic
Yeah.
shipping is. Whew. It
crazy.
is actually 100% handmade by me. You know, if you guys are ever looking for some woodwork to get done,
Except
let
for
me
the
know. Well, except for the metal,
except for the pre-forged
metal legs.
legs.
The metal legs weren't me. I stole these
No,
from
no,
the
no.
gym,
He definitely has a furnace in the
Yeah.
back.
and I forged
He
these legs
dug
out.
up the iron ore and forged it. I watched it.
But the table, the wooden part of the table is 100% me.
Yep.
So
He grew the trees for that as well.
yeah, that's why I have no trees in my backyard now. You know, like we've been saying that for the entire time we've been doing this, we're trying to continue to up the quality of our videos and stuff for you guys. And I just want to give another huge shout out to everybody that is continuing to support us on this channel. We are at 70 subscribers now, which is amazing. Like we've been pretty much having like one every couple of days for a while now, and
It's crazy.
It's awesome. Like I'm really, really thankful for all of you guys that are watching our videos, giving us likes. We'd love to see more comments in the comment section, so we can interact with you guys more. We want to know what your thoughts are. We want to know if there's anything that you guys want us to do videos on. We'd love to hear from you guys. But as always, we appreciate you guys being here. We love you guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Check out our social media links as well as the other shows here on Any Kind Media. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye, guys.